Thanks, Joe. Okay.
Yeah, get some others to allow it, I think,
Okay.
where they are. I'm assuming they got the information.
Then they must be part of the meeting, huh?
Yep, those are one of the applicants.
Oh, good. Thanks, Joe. Okay, it looks like the streaming
We're
is
recording, we're good to go.
beginning to start.
Thanks, Joe.
Oh,
Okay, this recording, let me record this one.
Then they must be, okay, sorry for the technical challenges.
Good to go?
Good, thanks.
All right, sorry for the couple minute delay there. We're back in person. We're vaccinated. We're happy to be here and be some kind of sense of normalcy. We're still going to try to push these out on YouTube. So if you're joining us on YouTube, welcome. And so we're going to try to keep Zoom and YouTube, and we're going to come up with some other cameras and a little different. This is kind of a makeshift thing because we all want to get back to in the habit of conducting our business now that we've all been vaccinated. So we'll start. I'll call to order this regular meeting of the Pleasant City Council. This March 23rd, 2021. First item of business is the Pledge of Allegiance, opening prayer reading and expressive thought by Dave Mary. Dave? Rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to be able to meet tonight as the city council and staff and residents of Pleasant View. We're mindful of the great blessings that we have received. We're grateful to live in this beautiful city. We have lots of challenges in our country and our community, and we pray that God will help us to be part of the solution tonight and might be able to make decisions and help solve problems and improve our city and help the growth of our city. We're grateful to be guided by that spirit. We pray that God will bless those in our community and our families who are in need of help and strength and blessings, that they will be able to receive those things that they need. We're thankful for the opportunity we have to serve on our city council, and pray that God will guide us in our decisions tonight. And these things we pray for in the name of Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Dave. All right, we have a pretty full agenda tonight, which is good. It looks pretty full. I think some of the items will fairly quick, so hopefully it's not as full as it might appear. First, we need to go through declaration of conflicts of interest. Anybody have a conflict of interest?
I just want to express that my brother-in-law is the VP of construction for Fields and Homes. We're discussing development for them tonight.
Okay, which one is that?
The Budge firm,
Number two.
number 2. Thanks.
All right. Do we have, are you council? City council member, she on?
She came last time.
Yeah.
So we'll get her on schedule.
Next, comments, questions for the mayor and council, public, and ready for the public, wish to address. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the consent items. The bills of Pleasant View City should be in your packet. Hopefully you got a chance to review those. Any questions or concerns? If not, I entertain. Move.
I'll second the motion.
Motion to approve the consent items. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, brings us to our first item of business, which is a public hearing, discussion and possible action to approve a rezone request from RE20 to RE15 on property located at 3230 North, 1000 West, parcel number 17-062-0080, ordinance 2021-4. Requester Travis Dean, presenter Jill Hunt. I entertain a motion to go into a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Arrington, second by Yuri. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Period. Jill.
Okay. So the Dean property is located on 1000 West, just above 3200 North. So it's right here in the middle of 975 West and 1000 West. It is currently an RE20 zone. He is requesting for an RE15 zone, which is a 1/3 acre lot. He does have frontage on both lots. Here's the layout. He has frontage both on the front and the back side of his current lot. He wants to split it in half. So the future land use, sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place. The future land use map does show 2 to 3 units per acre, which RE15 would be suitable. All of the neighboring to the east are 1/3 acre lots, and also southeast from this property are 1/3 acre lots. So it would blend in with the current area. If you can tell, let me move. Right here's the school. So all of these lots are 1/3 acres. 1000 West, most of them are half acre lots. But he doesn't have enough of the property to keep his front portion a half acre. So he's hoping to have the full lot changed to an RE15 again, so he can split it off from the back so he can sell that back parcel for a buildable lot. As staff, we don't have any issues with that. It does meet the general plan and the future land use map. It does meet in with the surrounding neighborhoods. So, and Planning Commission also did recommend approval of the rezone. I know Travis was hoping to be here. I don't know if he's able to hop onto Zoom or not. So, but that's all I have.
Yeah, it shows him on the Zoom.
All right, any questions or comments from the public?
There's a little bit of a delay on YouTube.
Mhm. Yeah, just give you this with me.
All right, if not, let's entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So I'll second the motion.
Motion by Bailey. Second by Mary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, close the public hearing discussion, concerns or questions from the council?
Has he applied for a subdivision of the property already, or is that in the planning commission, or is it has already?
I mean, has
Jill, he applied for the rezone through planning commission. So
To be honest, I really can't hear you guys. I don't know if you guys can speak more into your mics. I can hear Amy and the mayor just fine. I can barely hear Dave or anybody.
It's not.
Yeah, make sure you turn your mic on.
Yeah, he has requested a rezone, but has he applied for the subdivision already as well?
He's applied for the rezone. If the rezone doesn't happen, he doesn't want to apply for the subdivision because that's what everything is based on. If he can get that rezone, then he will apply for that subdivision. He doesn't want to put too much money into it if the rezone doesn't work.
Okay, any other questions?
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve this request stated in item number 1.
I'll second the
It's
motion.
ordinance 2021-4.
Ordinance 2021-4.
Could I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Gibson, second by Marriott. Any further discussion? Does this require a roll call vote?
Yes.
Okay, Harrington,
Yes.
Bailey. Yes. Gibson.
Yes.
Marriott. Yes. Fury.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Unanimous. Thank you. Item number 2, discussion and possible action to approve preliminary subdivision for Budge Farms Phase 2 located at 3075 North, 1375 West, parcel 19-014-0016. Requester is Brian Bayless, I'm guessing, and presenter is Jill. Jill.
Okay, so this is the second phase for Budge Farm. And if you don't remember where Budge Farm is, the original Budge Farm Phase 1 is right off of 1500, and it kind of curves and connects down to Highway 89. So Phase 2 is this little portion just south. So it will connect 1375 West to Budge Farm. So here's the layout. Budge Farms Phase 1 will connect right here at the parcel, and it will connect and make that connection with Budge Farm with existing infrastructure. At the bottom of 1375, it'll have a little cul-de-sac. There's 6 lots, and let me move my little screen with all you guys on there, and you can see the detention pond, which is in the corner. We would have access off of a right-of-way easement or right in between both lot 4 and 5. There are some red lines. We did just get some information back, so we are reviewing the current information. Hopefully they'll be able to correct all the red lines that we did have. But everything else is actually in your packet, and Planning Commission recommended approval, and staff is recommending approval as long as they meet the red lines, which again were in your packet, which I don't see why they wouldn't.
Perfect. So in our motion, if there is a motion to approve this, it would need to make sure we qualify that we meet all the red line staff recommendations.
Do we want to have an easement along 89?
I was gonna ask that question about 89. Is there a way to access that detention basin off at 89?
That gets back into that, the whole wells. So we would come in, and then I don't know if the churches allow it just for a short-term solution. We were asking for them to take that path and extend it over the church's fence. So if anybody in that neighborhood wanted to choose so, they could walk down it and enter the back of that church. But that was I guess, a short-term walkable solution that meant what you don't allow out there. Because if not, you're shrinking up their properties.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
What would you seek as the long-term solution to be able to access that?
Basically, when UDOT comes in, that changes that classification of Highway 89. That's when you would get those sidewalk or walkways, or we would have to do something on it with grants of some sort.
Okay, and I'm so sorry, when you speak, do you mind from the mic? I'm sorry.
Do I need to start over?
It might be-
It's good. Hard to get used to that, isn't it?
Just for whatever else you have to add.
Address and.
We have a comment on YouTube that they can't hear us.
Okay.
Steve Collier says can't hear you.
I can barely even hear Sarah.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, just make sure you really use your microphones then. Okay, go ahead, Tyson.
Just start over at the beginning, the church part, or?
Yeah.
Short-term, long-term.
So we were asking to bring down the pathway out of the cul-de-sac, have a little gravel path up to the back gate of the the church there. It's sort of short-term way for that neighborhood to walk, because you're not driving all the way around. But the long term with UDOT would be them to change the classification of that highway from their rural setting, and why they don't do it right now, I'm not aware. We've asked before, they turned it down.
So when you say we were asked, they want the city to provide this path?
Along UDOT on that side, just back to what Steve was asking on the last.
No, that's two different issues.
I
I'm
realize.
talking about a path, but he's talking about just allowing a little gravel path that we would not do.
Right.
Subdivision would have access to the church.
But they're talking about putting in a gravel path.
They were gonna do it
Okay.
with this project.
As part of this project.
Yes, yes.
It's just you said they were asking if we would do a gravel path to the we is not the city, the we is them.
Yes, we, the city, were asking them to put it in just because it's basically an extension of our access road.
As far as the UDOT path, we've had some preliminary meetings with UDOT and Wasatch Front Regional Council to explore a pathway along there. Honestly, they threw out $1 million figure, but it's still on the radar.
Can we use COVID funds for that?
I doubt it. Anyway, so I mean, it's not dead. We're still working with Wasatch Front and trying to identify if it's really feasible or not. It would be nice to have a loop. UDOT was very complimentary on our Pleasant View Drive path in our meeting when we had it last week. They're like, that's really nice. That's what we want to do. Okay. So, all right. Any further questions?
Yeah, Joe, is there any significant red lines? You didn't mention what they were.
No, they're very minor for Budge Farms Phase 2.
They already started on, like, the construction moving dirt on phase 1.
Yes.
We did have a pre-con meeting and they are able to start. I know Ben was going to verify that they have started or not. I have not heard yet. But they were hoping to start this phase 1 and then be able to just kind of keep going with phase 2.
Yeah, this is Brian Bayless with Nelson Homes. It took us a minute to kind of finalize our permitting and getting all that situated with UDOT. But we are there now, and they are out there clearing the trees and some of those things, just the old garbage trees that are out there, and cutting in some of those roads. So yeah, construction has officially begun, and we'd love nothing more than to just kind of keep rolling into phase 2.
Any other questions? If not, then entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the preliminary subdivision for Budge Farms Phase 2 to include the red lines that have been submitted.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Bailey, second by Yuri. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Brian. All right, item 3 is discussion and possible action to approve preliminary subdivision for Osage Court, located at the southeast corner of Highway 89 and 1325 West, parcel 19-207-0001. Requester is John Hanson, presenter Jill Hunt. Jill, take it away.
You guys are going to be sick of me by the time we're done. Let's see. Okay. So Osage Court is actually just south of Budge Farms Phase 2. They're on the other side of the church on 1325 West. You guys just did a rezone for them not too long ago, having it become RE15, which is 3rd-acre lots. There's the cul-de-sac. It meets the cul-de-sac rules. There's 100-foot frontage on every lot. There is no entrance off of Highway 89. That's strictly off of 1325 West. They are doing bioswales instead of a detention pond. Tyson and Dana can probably speak more on that one. But other than there are some red lines on the plat, minor details on the plat, and some stormwater quality corrections that they have to correct, which they've been going back and forth, especially recently on that. I believe that they've corrected quite a few of that. Other than that, I didn't put it in the staff report and I apologize, but in the notes, in the staff report at the very end, it does show that Commissioner Cummings motioned for the approval with the staff report, along with the red lines, and it was seconded by Commissioner Bolingbrook, and the voting was unanimous in favor to recommend approval.
And keeping with your short thing, can we have a reader's digest version of what a bioswale is? I'm not familiar with that at all. Tyson?
I'm there, Mayor.
Yeah, that'd be fine. So,
Yeah, it's, I know.
I've never heard of that. I imagine it's
must be allowed.
some shortcut to detention rate.
Just because of the small area there, you don't need to have a above ground ponding area, so a bioswale. I think the closest example would be, Edian and the Junction area at Ogden. That's probably just this way. I don't
But
know.
that's a underground basin, and there's stuff there. That's not just going into the ground, is there?
So these will come in and it cleans it up, and it would still end up in your storm drain. So once it fills up all the way, it's not.
It's not holding anything back.
Yes, it can end up back into the storm drain and it just go out. But for such a small area to create a pond with a parcel that you own, it just didn't make sense. And trying to push that LID movement and cleaning up your water.
Do we have anything else like that in the city?
We have the hydrodynamic separators cleaning it up, and then I believe there are tanks is the term up at Island Meadows.
Does those silt up at all then? Is there problems down the road, or is that?
Not yet. No, you'll definitely, so the hydrodynamic separators, you'll end up cleaning them, but depending on how big of an area, what's around it, is how often you'll have to. So we'll basically end up with spreadsheets labeling where all these are, and you'll just have to start creating a field for this one needs attention every quarter to 5 years or whatever it ends up being.
Is that harder on our city than? I would think that'd be much more complicated down the road than a detention basin.
Yes, it'll be a new function for, I guess, our stormwater public works group, but it's not, even if you didn't agree with it, it's all mandated.
Yeah, it's like
So,
each state, or
Yes.
is it the feds that mandated it? To the state pushed it
Yep.
down.
So we don't, it's not anything we get to decide not to do, so
Yeah.
we're just trying to implement it the best way possible.
Thank you.
Is it just a tank? What is it?
This one isn't, this one's more of a. I'm not
Tyson?
sure how to explain it, but it's more of like a biomass.
And it sounds like Dana's on, if you want some help.
No, it's okay. That's plenty. I just wanted to know what it was, but I can picture it. I know along Lincoln, or Grant, excuse me, I know that is all along the west side of the temple there, that you like that.
Yeah, so that's probably, I think of that one as
And I
the
saw that-
easiest way to
I saw that
show.
going in, but it is a culvert or something under the ground. You could put something so the water goes through and
So it's cleaning it and then,
yeah.
and then transporting it off to the bigger system.
Anyway, that's all. I need. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve this preliminary subdivision for Osage Court as stated in item number,
Subject to the red lines.
subject to the red line.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
All right, motion by Gibson, second by Bailey. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, John. All right, item 4 is a discussion of possible action to approve the streetlight standards resolution 2021-A. Jill.
Okay, so this is the last time you'll hear from me on an item, so yay.
Oh,
Hopefully you guys were able to hear read your packet. I didn't do a slideshow because there's a lot of stuff on there, and hopefully you were able to look at there's what the streetlights are going to look like and all the details, installation. I'm glad Dana's here because she can probably interpret a lot of it better than I could. But the committee, which was Dana, Tyson, also, I believe Dana, her name just skipped my brain. It's Emily, right?
Emily, Alicia.
Yes, Alicia. Emily works for Jones and Associates. She's helped us a lot on this. Alicia, one of the planning commissioners, she actually was writing her final for her college class on black light or black skies, dark skies. And Laurie was in there, and Bill was while he was here, and now Amy's in there. The mayor's been on and off, and also Debbie. So we have both the city has a couple of residents in there, as well as the professionals, which would be Dana and Tyson and whatnot. So we have both what's required, the standards to help those subdivisions. The developers know what we require for new subdivisions to come in, also the installation and whatnot. So if you have questions, you have either Dana or I, so.
Just a couple of statements. So in the past, so we've approved what we want. This is basically, this is the standards to get, especially the subdivisions that have come in that have not installed the lights. That we have the money. We don't want a great disparity. Okay, between what we've collected from them and what it's going to cost. And every month that goes by, we're afraid that the cost of putting those in will grow. So we've kind of pushed this, and the packet. Hopefully, you had a chance to read. The summary of the packet was well put together. Appreciate that. So this is why it's before us now. It has been to the planning commission, correct?
It has.
And they recommend approval, or they. So this is so that we can get lights. This does not include our plan to come in and replace lights yet. That's down the road. But this will allow us to start putting in the lights in the subdivisions that have been on hold. That makes sense. If there is the money.
But this standard will be used.
Yes.
Down the road.
Standard, yeah. For us.
And is that going to be, again, I realize that this is two separate issues, really. I agree with the standard. I think that's a great thing to have a standard. But there's so many of the city that isn't part of that standard, even some subdivisions that have something. I just wonder what, again, going forward is a great thing. To have a standard going forward, but
Now it gets tricky to answer, because we got to start identifying.
But then where do we start? Because originally, at least my opinion, we were talking about changing over to save money on lights and power, and we're handicapped by Rocky Mountain Power. That's where it started, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it evolved into this other thing that still doesn't solve our problem.
But it keeps the problem from getting worse.
And I appreciate it. Again, Mayor, I don't want to argue, and I don't think that we are, because I agree with this standard going forward. But in my opinion, we still aren't tackling the problem that we had to begin with, and I feel like we've lost that beginning.
The committee hasn't.
Okay,
We're
okay,
Yeah, we're
because
pushing forward.
we're still nowhere near tackling what we started out to
we
do.
hope to have, we want to have, we don't hope to, we will have a recommendation of which area, what lights, it might be small, but it's for the budget, because we're gonna need to include whatever we need in the budget, so.
I understand that, but
We're working on getting that first area, the most expensive, the one we're gonna get the biggest bang for the buck, I think, for.
because we talked about conservation and getting out of the contract of Rocky Mountain Power. I had all these numbers, and I can't quote them right this second, for all the costs and all the different things. And then it went to something else, I felt, that's kind of away from that original thought, which again, I understand this is important for the new subdivisions and for the look of the city. Given. But we still need that. If you're working on it in there, I will take that.
We are, I promise you, we are.
Yeah.
It's because it's like, we need a project put in the budget.
Yeah.
And I personally want the biggest bang for our buck.
I agree.
To start on that. Because I'll just tell you real quick, we looked at, do we want to concentrate on a corridor, make a corridor for you, or do we? That's all nice, but that's not what the project was.
Right. Again, I mean, these large farms, and all these places, to have something, 100%. We need a standard by which we give to the contractors when we're doing the subdivisions. No question.
That's what this.
But getting away from the cat, or the, what is it called, the sodium, whatever it is, lights.
Yeah.
That we're still, I mean, that's been a couple of years now, but we've been paying a lot for electricity, paying a lot for maintenance. And we're still now 2 years of past, and I don't think we made a decision on how to tackle that. I don't know. That's one other thing, Mayor. So, and I know those are two separate things in your mind.
Well, we talked about holding off on this until we had it all wrapped up in.
As long as this goes out as a standard for going forward, which I 100% I'm with, and I would support that 100%. But I do want to still tackle.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it up. That is a big question.
The issue,
The biggest part of the project.
the biggest part of the project, that is, again, in my opinion, is where it started. And I know we've had battles, with Bill, and I don't feel like I was heard, but maybe I was. I don't.
Make a comment.
Sure. Go ahead.
I just want to compliment everybody that worked on this. It's remarkable that to put all this together and to verbalize it the way the committee has is pretty amazing, really, for a bunch of us to get together and come up with that. We did a super good job. So I just want to compliment you and make a motion that we approve resolution 2021A.
I will second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. Further comments? If not, this will be a roll call vote. Arrington,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Marriott,
Yes.
Uri.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 5, discussion and possible action to approve a local transportation funding agreement between Weaver County and Pleasant View City for Skyline Drive property acquisitions in the amount of $1,380,510. Amy.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Before you this evening is consideration to approve this agreement with Weaver County. This is relative to the Skyline Drive project. So in going through the project and looking at property acquisition, we noticed that property prices since the project had commenced had gone up significantly. So we worked with WCOG to get additional funding available to secure some of the properties. So that's what's before you this evening is consideration for approval of receipt of those additional funds.
And I'd like to thank Amy for her hard work and Brooke on the county side. They worked well together to secure this additional almost $1.4 million for us.
And Larry.
And Laurie.
She loves the
That goes
attention.
without saying. So, no, appreciate that.
Here, I'll make the motion to approve the local transportation funding agreement between Weaver County and Pleasant View City for Skyline Drive for the amount of $1,382,510.
Second motion.
Okay, motion by Harrington, second by Bailey. Is this a roll call or is it?
Just vote.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, discussion and possible action to award the Fundy Veterans Monument bid. Presenter Kevin Bailey.
I've never done this before. This is gonna be more fun.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm finding the
no,
mouse,
okay.
Kevin. This technology thing is really fun.
Let me just, before Amy, or as Amy pulls those up, let me just, give you a teeny bit of history. About 5 years ago, maybe a little longer, Christie's dad was, well, he's been gone for longer than that, but he was down at the Georgia Wallen Veterans Center, and her mother stayed there too. And it was remarkable to just go in there every day. We went in and to see how good they took care of the vets. And that's when this idea started to spawn in my wife's little noggin, and she started to beg and plead to do something to recognize our veterans. And so we met with city council, then a different bunch, some of you are still here, but we presented the thought of putting a memorial. Now we call it a monument, and I'll explain why, out front of the building, and that was approved. So since that time, we've tried really hard to raise money, and the way we've raised money are typical high school kind of ways. And we do the breakfast at Founder's Day, and we had to share it with some people, so we never made a lot of money. But we raised like $5,000, and this year we expect that number would be significantly more because we're doing it ourselves. We don't have to help pay for anything. Lee's Market has agreed to donate all the food for the breakfast. So anything we make during Founder's Day that with the same activities we've been doing, we'll just go right into the Veterans Memorial, Veterans Monument, fund. And so that's how this all started. I just wanted to share that with you before we got going. So the idea behind this started that way, and basically what we have done is, just go to the next page.
Yep, sorry, almost there.
Okay.
Thanks for the intro, that helps.
Oh, there you go. We just really feel it's important that we honor those who serve from our community, and we want to be sure that everybody understands that we want to reach out to everyone. Amy's actually working with the American Legion, because there's been a lot of citizens that have lived in Pleasantville and moved away or passed away. We just want to be sure that everyone that deserves to have their name on this monument can get their names on. So there's a website on the city's website. We've created a link where they can apply to have their names added. That's pretty important to remember. We also wanted to make this just as part of this city corner, just make it a place where people can gather. And if you look at veteran monuments, as we've traveled around the last 5 years, everywhere we go, that's all, and what we do is go to look at the monuments. And so, and we've seen a lot of them, and there's some really, really amazing ones. In little teeny cities like Moroni, Utah has they have this whole corner that is amazing. I don't know where they came up with funds to do it, but it's amazing, the statues and waterfalls. And so we wanted to start simple, and we'll show you a rendering in a minute, but we just wanted to start simple, make it someplace people could gather and do that. We did have mentioned the fundraising things we've done. As part of this rendering, we also are going to sell pavers that will be inlaid in the sidewalk. I've talked with a couple of different places to get those. We can get them for about $20 a piece, and we'll just sell them and have families' names engraved in them and put in the sidewalk. So, and we've got an idea for that. So the rendering that you'll see is a little rough, but it was a start, and that we just needed to have something to compare apples to apples to as we went out for bids. So we did put this out to bid. Amy, thank you so much for your efforts. You put an RFP together. We gathered bids from 3 different companies. There was Allen Mortuary or Cash Valley Monument. Bots submitted a proposal, and then Stone Monument and Stone Supply and Monument out here in the Pleasant View. They provided us a bid. As a committee, we looked at those 3 proposals, and really the RFP was just to allow people to be creative within our budget that we had stated. We got different designs back. You can see those in your packet. I'm not going to show them all tonight to everybody, but we as a committee decided that we liked the one that designated which branch of the service they served under most, and so that's why we chose the one we did. Following that meeting where we decided that's the design we wanted, we felt it was fair that we gave the other 2 bidders a chance to respond to that. So we're comparing apples to apples. I just heard today back from Cash Valley Monument, and their bid was considerably higher than Stone Monuments. And as you're aware from reading the packet, Stone Monument, Stone Supply and Monuments bid was $42,150. That does not include the cement work or any electrical that we do or any excavation. So we, as part of this whole process, Sarah knew some people that were from all the flag folks, and we reached out to them. They're here today, and we so appreciate them. James, can you come up to the microphone for just a minute? This is James Hammond. James helped spearhead the work that was done in North Ogden for the Veterans Monument that's there. And he's also one of the few restaurant owners in Pleasant View.
I think I'm the only one. I'm not sure. Strong market. It's getting there.
Yeah, he cooks some wild meat, I tell you. Not wild meat, but good
Maybe. We'll do some wild meat too. I'm not afraid.
Just a week ago, James jumped on board with us, and like this guy's like Wiley Coyote. I tell you, he called me the other day and told me what he'd already got arranged. So I just let you tell us what's transpired.
So in this week, I've heard about this project. I've reached out to a few of my contacts. I'm about 80% sure we have all the concrete we'll need to donate. I have a cement guy on hand who's going to love to help us with this project. These are the same people I worked with in North Ogden for the Gold Star Monument. We have, of course, Jenny Taylor heard about this, and she insists on being a part of it with us. And I'm happy to have her behind me. And we have Kirk and Jed, and we have a pretty strong team of people in these 2 communities who are very veteran oriented and love our veterans, love our community. And this just seemed like another great project to be a part of. So here I am. You guys are going to get whatever I can offer you, okay?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, James. We really appreciate it.
And I'm Jenny Taylor of the Major Brent Taylor Foundation, and we are happy to bring you a check for $1,000 for your fundraising efforts. And we will throw all of our efforts in making sure you get to that 42,000 and beyond, because we know this community will jump at it once they know. And I know I speak for a lot of people who aren't here today, in addition to the men behind me, that we will make sure this happens in your community. And even though I live across the border, this like barely, not even barely. That's my now. I think my high school, and this is my home, so it's an honor to.
And this is our nation. So
And put us forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Let me just add to that too. It's interesting. The Standard Examiner ran an article that was in the paper on Monday, I believe. Drink some water. Anyway, following the running of that ad, and that wasn't an ad, it was an article. We've had several people reach out to us today. Richard Reese from Pleasant View called me and he also was gonna bring a check down for $1,000 from him and his wife. So I think our community loves the idea. We've just always talked about it and nobody's ever been able to like put their head around what we're really talking about. So that's the purpose of where we've been and what we're doing. So, and thank you, Jenny, and your foundation is wonderful. And there are no borders when it comes to paying respect to the veterans. So we appreciate your help, all of you. And thanks, James, for the work you've done so far. Next slide. This is kind of a picture. It started way different. We realized that we've left the clock out, and it's just
talk about the history of the clock real quick, just so.
you might know better than I. It was at the Ogden Temple grounds in front of the tabernacle. So all of us that grew up in Ogden have driven past it 100 times, but it's an amazing clock when you see it up close. And that's just a kind of a picture of it that the guys.
Where are we storing that?
It's out back behind the shops, and it's worth walking back there for, just to go see it, because the ball itself is as tall as I am.
Tell us how we
It's
got it.
big. We had a prior councilman that was a security specialist at the temple, and he heard that they were going to take it down, and so he asked if we could have it. And so the LDS church gave it to us, and so it's pretty amazing. They were just going to scrap it, but
Tyson had to go
it
get
is
it.
beautiful. Tyson had to go get it. I didn't know that.
I wasn't there.
Tyson sent his guys to go get it. It's huge and it's going to be beautiful there. And we put it there just to complement the veterans plaques. We love this design because it honors every branch of the service. And we just plan on pouring cement, then off the ends of where the clock is where we'll do the tile that I talked about. There.
Okay, but you maybe tell them what it says on the base there. Clock.
Yeah, at the top, well, there was a reminder on the base of the clock that you can't see, like on the base, that's a foot thick flat granite piece with beveled edges. And on the front of it, it'll say honoring Pleasant View veterans, past, present, and future, which ties the clock into why we use the clock. So, and we had a slanted headstone. I don't know what to call it.
Looked like a headstone.
It looked like a headstone
Monument.
and a monument. And we, when we went down to talk to them about incorporating the clock, this is what the mastermind behind this whole project came up with. So that's kind of what they came up with. And
How tall are the individual things? Just to give us.
each of the black monuments are 6 feet tall. So each one of them is 6 feet tall, and the emblem from each branch of the service will be in color. So
But you have names on both sides of it each side.
yeah, we can. There's plenty of room right now. There's 3 columns of names can go on each one. They're 42 inches wide and 8 inches thick. So they'll be pretty impressive when we get it all set up. I also want to put lighting in the cement so at night the light shines up on them. And future, maybe depending on money, is we would love to put on the outside of those. When we do the electrical work, we'll run a conduit for an additional light to shine upon the flag of each branch. And that would be amazing if we could swing that. It's a lot of work. It's kind of a pipe dream, but this whole thing started that way. And it would be really cool to have the flag of each of the branches of the service on the south side of the yeah. That's kind of where we got that idea, was down in
Santa
Clara, and it's really impressive. So our goal is to do that. We didn't incorporate it in this drawing, but anyway, we love the design. We love how we incorporated the clock, and if we could solicit the help from our flag helper people. We would really love to work with somebody and get flagpoles behind each one of those as part of this.
Sign us up.
Maybe on the agenda or- If I may, just for a second, Kevin, I don't know how many of you know this, but when we were setting up the flags for Veterans Week, our old city flag was looking pretty sorry. And these guys down here are pretty awesome, and I think that, you know, all the things come together for a reason. And getting to know these guys, it's just been amazing, but our awesome Kirk Chug said, hey, Sarah, that flag looks pretty sad. So when I said, well, Kirk, do you have a flag? And he said, yes, I do. And I said, well, how much is it? He says, well, we'll just put it up. And I've been bugging Kirk for the longest time of how much is this flag? Let me pay for it, or let the city pay for it. But no, he did it Kirk Chug style. And this Follow the Flag organization is very much a Kirk Chug style. He donated that flag to the city. And just so you know that it's flying there and it's part of what the whole Follow the Flag organization is about. Service and sacrifice and dedication to our nation's veterans. So I just wanted you guys to know that that was from Kirk Chug, the flag is flying now.
Well, thank you guys. Next slide. Is there next slide? Oh, this is the hardest part. Okay, we thought for the longest time we had $35,000 and we found out we only have 25,000, so there's a shortfall. The cost of the monuments themselves is $42,150.
The donations have gone up today, so.
Yeah, so we're down to 10,000 now already in one day. Thank you, Jenny, and thank you, Luis. I just think when people hear about this and see about it, that $12,000 is not going to be an issue. I really don't think it's going to be an issue. With the money we raise in Founder's Day, I think we'll be fine. So, along with what James is doing, a lot of the cost would come in. I think we would probably see if we like really put this whole project out to bid, that everything else would equal as much or more than just the monuments. And so getting all that donated by local businesses and people that are professionals in their own skills is going to be really a plus. Is there a next slide?
Yes, and do you mind if I just jump in really quickly, Councilmember Bailey? So just a note on this, typically, obviously, we don't award bids without all of the funding in place. And so if there was a desire to move forward with an action tonight, I would recommend that you move to, you know, approve the project bid contingent on receipt of, you know, the additional funds needed. And just to clarify that, but obviously there's movement with this. So, you know, if you feel comfortable, that's absolutely an
Mayor,
option.
can we find some money in the budget to do that? I mean, is this something we could have done by Founder's Day?
No, we wanted it.
We asked.
We asked for it. We tried.
None of the vendors, they were very awesome. The granite comes from India, and the soonest they can get it here is July.
So we're planning veterans. Grand opening.
We were really hoping for Founder's Day. We asked.
That's appropriate.
They all said no.
We could maybe put something out there as a mock, you know, or as a
Banners.
mock-
I suggest you get some banners made.
Some banners or something that we could put a visual right in front. of
Future
Founder's Day.
home at the.
But I would like to find some money for that, and this is what's right with America. And I think we need to remember that. This is the important thing.
Yeah.
And you know, Kevin, and I want to say thank you, because I know you and your wife have been drivers of this for a long time, and you've had that. You know, I think everybody's been supportive, and I want to thank you for all the work you've done but because it is what's right.
Yeah.
And we have to honor those things that are right, and we have to find the money. And I think.
Can I make a recommendation about the money? Laura, this is a Laurie question, obviously. Based on what we have, will we have enough money in this year's budget to go ahead and order?
Yeah, we're required to put 60% down for them to order it because it comes from India. So it's we have to put 60% down. We have enough to do that.
And then if
we don't raise enough money before July 1st, we could look at it as a budget issue to budget the rest out of next year. But that gives us several months to try to just kind of get a good feel how much money we are gonna raise, to see if we need to get additional money.
I really think that we should commit to that. I mean, we're gonna get some donations, we're gonna get some in-kind donations. But I mean, we're close, and to have that little bit, really, I mean, it's a lot, but just to stop that and not have that done this year, I think would be a shame. So I think we should go forward.
Or would you rather do it, like, try to include it all in this year's budget?
Yeah, if you guys include it, you just take away from something else.
I mean, we always have a little bit left over. You know, we have some discretionary funds that we have in place that we,
And we could look in the budget.
and
and see what-
I think we could find that much. And then
If
really,
not, we could always open the budget.
and then do that again. And then I think it's important enough that we need to do that and just make it happen. And maybe we don't make the motion tonight. If we find that, I mean, I don't.
Well, tonight is to award the bid, basically. Which,
Contingent on available
yeah,
funds.
we're getting a lot of history.
Contingent upon available funds, I think we should do that.
Okay.
Kevin, I think you should be the one to make that one.
And to your
Well, that'd be
question,
real easy for me to do.
Kevin's next slide, so. Not to-
Yeah, so we really want to have this done, however, whatever done looks like, we want to have it for Veterans Day for sure. We really tried hard to push, in fact, it was written in the RFP that done by Congress, but.
They-
like I said, it's
What
3 months
more
later.
appropriate date to have it be done?
Yeah, so if we, I would,
I do think.
I- I'm just sitting here stuttering. I'd really love to see us complete it with flags and everything by then, but I don't know if we can come up with that kind of money, because those flags are really expensive.
Yes, you can.
We'll get it.
Okay,
I motion will work with you.
all right.
I agree with
So-
Steve and, you know, seeing what we can do, but I think it also brings the community together when you still push to have people donate. I
Right,
think they want to be a part of it. Don't take away the opportunity. Yeah,
Of course, I mean, but we need, if there is a little bit of a shortfall or something.
yes.
I mean,
we can make up the
I'm
difference.
amazed at what people will do, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Taylor, thank you so much, and
Right.
and everybody else, but,
Article came out yesterday, and got $2,000.
so I just.
Yeah, I think-
You guys do realize that all of our blocks are done privately, right? There was not one city
Yes.
died involved.
Real.
Well, we're everything's good as well.
Exactly, we got the same need caliber people.
Yeah, that-
Jenny's got a couple ideas for some funds that might be available to.
Just super
So-
quick, you could, one thing you could look at, but you have to be very quick. and I told you. The easy grant applications for ramp, I don't know if you're planning to push it in.
We are already drafting the application right now, so, yeah.
Because that's a couple $1,000s that,
Mhm.
I mean, that might cover your flags. I mean, that covers your flags. Yeah.
I'm aware of a $5,000 grant that's coming from Sam's Club that I'm gonna try and direct to this project. For you guys, I get a lot of, let's just say I do a lot of business with them and I
You
tend
got
to
some
hear.
friends in high places.
I hear when their grants come through and I've happened to direct a few of them the right way. So when I know a little bit more about that, I'll tell you guys more, but I think it's $5,000 and I think I can get my hands on it.
You're so.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I think we're really going in the right direction here. So.
And I agree with you in putting up some sort of banners and stuff down there in front of the building to like, future home of the Pleasant View Monument.
And then load it up on social media, make it so we can share. I have a few thousand people. Jenny has thousands of people that follow her, on mine, and Kirk has, between just this road right here,
Yeah.
we can get it out to thousands and thousands of people in social media for the donation, how to donate, where to donate, the pavers, in-kind donation, whatever you want it to be. Social media is a great platform to get that out there.
If you get the banners up, we're gonna give you a backdrop with surrounding flags to make it.
I knew it.
Awesome.
Look at you.
We'll get the rendering to have the flags in it, so.
Is there more slides?
Yeah, there's a couple more.
Okay. Fundraising, we talked about, content. We're gonna allow anyone that's lived in Pleasant View or has, the hard part is, we already mentioned, there's people that have come and gone, we don't know who they are. Amy has reached out or is going to reach out to the American Legion and try and gather as many names as we can. We used to do a patriotic fireside thing around the 4th of July, so we have a good list to start with. But some of those people are even gone now, and so
Do we have, can we verify those? I mean, is there?
So what we're asking for, that's a really excellent question. I've just gone on some of the other veterans memorial monument sites, and we're asking for just what their name is, you know, to have that on the monument, and then also what an address is that they've lived in the city for verification. And so to kind of give that history or background. And then their branch and service, and then also, you know, if they want to add, and these, you know, this one's optional, but types of tours of duty. And it's really interesting. We've gotten 16 names submitted since yesterday, since the article came out. And a lot of them are World War II veterans, which I thought was really interesting. So, you know, family members are really trying to.
But can we verify? I mean, I just, we want to
Well,
be inclusive, we want to be.
No,
inclusive of
absolutely.
everybody,
So-
but we also want to verify that.
Yeah, so that's where,
with
with the American Legion and Veterans Affairs, we've made some contact with them. And so we're really wanting to make sure that those are verified and obviously, but to be inclusive too. So we're trying to balance that out. But I think with having, you know, people submitting and then verifying, absolutely.
When does that list have to be done? Be done by Veterans Day?
We will need to, once a bid is awarded, work with the contractor to see when they need to finalize that, but it is an ongoing thing. And so even if there's names that come after, obviously we have a kind of end date for when we can submit them for the November 11th type of thing. But then after, the intent would be to continue to add those names on an annual basis.
We've talked to the contractor, and they'll come over once a year and add names as needed. So there'll be a cost, but we'll just continue to raise money and put it in the culture store for that maintenance. So we probably need to set up a line item in the budget for the maintenance of the monument, though. There's nothing there now. So we're gonna add names every year so that we have some money.
Does the
to
grant
pay
and
for
stuff
that
have to
each
be
year.
treated every so often to keep it? Yes, yeah, it does.
And they'll come and do that when they, as part of the yearly engraving process, if we have names to add. So in a nutshell, that's kind of it. I'd like to propose, I'll make a motion that we approve the expenditure of the current budgeted money to order the monuments such that, and be able to continue to press forward with the construction of the Pleasant View Veterans Monument. We will spend that $25,000 that's there and the money that we've raised, plus the donations that we have, to order the granite and get it being processed so we can meet that deadline.
And award the bid to.
The only person that really responded to it, to be honest, was Stone Supply. 60%. Yeah, we need to give them 60%, which is.
Oh, I don't know.
60%.
42,150.
25,200.
What is it?
25,200.
Okay, so I guess my motion would be to award the contract to Stone Supply and Monument for the entire project or monument part of the project, and we'll figure out how to pay for the rest later.
So contingent on available funds.
Non-available funds, but we'll come up.
Can we all second that?
I'll second the motion. Yeah, second, third, and fourth.
Great. Motion by Bailey, seconded by Marriott, is official. Any further discussion? Please.
You may want to, somewhere in the layout, allow for a space for the Space Force monument, because.
We talked about that. We talked about that and what to do with the Space Force. We actually decided that sometime in the future, if we end up with somebody, and we kind of probably need to
make adjustments.
Yeah, it would be to include that on the Coast Guard, because we're, from what we've come up with, there's a few names, we probably divide it. Put Space Force and the Coast Guard on one of the 6-foot monuments. So
We also have on the other side, the south side of every monument will be aligned.
we may never get anybody on the Space Force, but we may end up with a couple.
Yeah, never know.
You might as well have that.
So we actually did have that discussion.
So I have a comment here. So we're $12,000 short of the original 10. Okay, we're 10. Well, we have what, more than 10,000 residents in part of the year, and everyone just are getting a $1,400 check. So maybe we can put something on social media that they can just drop off $1 here. I don't know how, I mean, $1 for every resident. I don't think that's a hard thing to do. So
Well, sure.
I think you had a comment too. I don't know if he does.
I just think that would, I mean, it should, when you put it in terms of that's that easy for everybody, I think it can happen overnight.
Yeah, so go ahead, Chris.
We want to make sure that we honor those that have.
Oh, can you come to the microphone? I'm so sorry, Christy. And they can all hear you.
Oh, yeah, I mean.
We want to make sure that we honor those that have lost their lives serving by a gold star right next to their name.
That's, I just forgot to say, it, you know, forgot to tell you, but that will be, we will gold star every name of veterans who gave their lives in action, so. And they'll be gold, right? So
Yes.
it's gonna be
Yes.
really nice with the black granite and the colored insignias and the names being engraved in white and the gold stars. It's gonna be really classy.
Oh, that's great.
Those flags on the front of the clock tower too. with-
Yeah, there'll be a flag there.
It would, sorry. It would be really great after this vote if you guys start sharing all the details of what your plans are, just on your page so that we can all share it, going back to James's comment.
Yeah.
On social media, get people really excited about all the fun and, fun and the more, really unique details.
Do you guys have a thing for your Founder's Day this year?
Yes.
Traditions for generations.
So is there some way to tie that together?
Good.
In your marketing? just-
Honoring past, present, and future veterans with the traditions for
There
generations.
you go. And if you can put that in
There you
your
go.
marketing.
Perfect.
We could totally do that because and we can put that out on social media too.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right,
As long as the committee agrees to that, our Founder's Day committee, absolutely.
let's call for a vote then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nobody cares. Just an explanation for those that came in after we started the meeting. We're not wearing masks because we're either old enough to be vaccinated or some are in the medical profession, some are in teaching profession. So school. That's why we're not wearing masks up here. So we've all been vaccinated. We don't want to get in trouble with everybody.
And in the back row, we probably would all say, we don't really care.
Just for an explanation.
Just in case you want to know.
Some people get really hung up about it, so I just want to make sure everybody.
Well, we look forward to working with all of you and we'll be in contact so we have our numbers and stuff.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
We've lost several members in our community, one just this past week after COVID, so. Some people are sensitive to it.
Yes, they are.
Kelly at the barn, who we lost Sunday, who was a great man and terrible loss.
Yes, it is.
All right, let's move on. Thank you so very much for all you do and being here, especially for all you do. And thank you for taking such good care of our firemen.
Oh, we love it. Love to beat the fire.
Yep, you.
And like city workers, you guys are all regulars too. so.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you so very much.
No, yeah, thank you so much.
I got some other things to turn in, so let's.
All right.
Okay.
Is there a
Thanks so much.
I think it's set up a link to.
Set up a link on web page to, I don't,
you guys had the Venmo, is that still going? Because,
that was a different thing. That was just another avenue.
okay, are you not continuing the Venmo?
We can't, that's not gonna be our name.
Okay.
It was a,
So I'm gonna
it
count.
was a citizen's idea.
Now that it's been approved, we can have another subcommittee meeting and kind of refine some of the details and get the information out to you all if that's helpful.
It'd be awesome to do it, be able to have somewhere link, like the EMS, election, just to, so people can hop on and just make the donation.
Yeah.
Do it like GoFundMe kind of things with that?
We want to avoid GoFundMe because they take a percentage.
Yeah.
So we not set up a Venmo, it's just so easy.
Yeah, there is one. We're using.
I sent one.
Cruise.
Is it that you can't do it because it's a business? Is that what it is, or?
No, I think they, Mayor's son-in-law actually set it up.
And he's working on all that, so.
I'm not sure exactly where that's.
I really don't think it's gonna be a problem. Once people.
Yeah, I just want to make it easy to do.
Right.
Instead of just having to come here physically.
If you go, also if you go out to a lot of the businesses, he's gotten postcards with some, outline. It's got a Pleasant View city sign with Ben Holman in the background, makes, Facebook.
Yeah.
That he's made 2,000 postcards, and they're in the businesses with cans where you can donate 50 cents to get a postcard.
And we haven't paid.
We've just been trying as many avenues. as possible.
We do have a Facebook page for it, but it's been a little inactive because we haven't had a lot to show. Now we got a lot to show, so.
I think those people right there are influencers.
Yeah.
That's great to have them. I don't think it's gonna be a problem.
They're outside having a meeting after the meeting, so that's always good.
The only thing, Mayor, that, and Kevin, I think, when you get a lot of those people that are starting to go, you need to kind of get that, we get a circle around that and make sure that it's all focused. Because people are really willing and able, to do it, but you have to kind of manage that, right, and make sure that it is. Because the electrical stuff and all the things all need to fit, and obviously like the general contractor, that,
James is really instrumental in that.
but I'm just saying, Kevin, we just.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, we would have a drawing, right?
We need to, yeah,
So
We just have that, because it's, again,
Talk
it's
to the
nice,
health
it's
brother or
wonderful.
somebody.
It's just.
Whoa, did you read Marie Watson's comment?
Is she the one that
Maybe
said,
Wadman Construction would donate to
No.
this. Maybe Wadman helped others use with their military documents. Please send me the information. I'll directly to ask for a donation.
We do that. Am I supposed to call him?
She tagged Amy.
Oh,
In the post, so.
All right, let's move on to item 7, discussion and review. That's exciting. We always talk about, so that's great. Everybody's got that enthusiasm. Item 7, discussion and review of the fiber survey results. And it's
Awesome. Tag team, thank you. All right, as you guys know, we conducted a survey. It ran from March 1st to the 19th. We used as many avenues as we could think of. We put it in the newsletter, we posted it on Facebook, put it up on the marquee. So we went out as many ways as we could think of. We were delighted that we had 500 surveys answered. Based on our population, that's 20%, which was extraordinary results, right? Of turning out to have that. So we're just gonna present that to you tonight. I really want to thank Amy. She put together the PowerPoint. She's making Kevin and I look good here tonight. So really appreciate all of her work on this. And so we'll just kind of walk through it together. Oh, wow, it's even animated.
wow, sorry, I didn't mean to make it that fancy.
So basically, like she said, like, we're just trying to gauge interest, and that's what the survey was for, is to decide, do we need fiber, do we need broadband here? So. So this just breaks down, we had 528 responses, but 500 were complete. So some people went in and started it and they didn't finish it, so we didn't like put them into that. Of course, you can see there are 6 businesses. Some people responded twice and we did the second one out. So it's just based on household, okay? So you can see the demographics there. So if you had another choice of internet service provider, how likely would you be to switch? So, you know, you can see based on 500 respondents, we're looking at almost 400 there that said they would be somewhat likely or extremely likely to switch. So that's at 80% there. How likely would you be to subscribe to 1,000 megabits internet service provided by fiber or affordable? So you can see again there that the likely subscribe rate there is 94%. If you do somewhat and extremely likely together, that's 94%. So. Is your current?
If we're affordable or if it didn't kick you out, is there a question there?
Yeah, those come later. No.
That's the big thing.
I know. I know.
That many people use Comcast.
Yeah, but I mean, you can see that that's pretty common, you know, I mean, that's who our availability is through, and probably mostly is Comcast, so the majority are using Comcast. It's interesting because we had, and you can look these through, I can send them to you, but we also had people comment on the survey. Let's see, 342 responses didn't have a comment, so if you do your math, you know, we have about 150 comments. That's a lot of comments, but a lot of them said, you know, it's my only Comcast is my only option, you know, so.
You know, what's crazy is that I can't even get it across, people across the street and get Comcast, but I can't across the street.
Right. Okay, selection of your current provider. What's the primary reason you selected your current internet provider? And this is just because they selected them because they thought they'd have speed or whatever. It doesn't mean that they have the speed or the reliability, but they thought that they did. So, you know, they may be using Comcast because they thought they had speed or reliability. So it's just based on like, why to choose them, right?
That's their main reason for choosing it.
Sure.
So that's how reliability be much higher than that.
Well, and that's, that they would choose based on reliability.
Speed's one thing.
Reliably slow, so I think.
Reliable, that's what, I think you and I both have kids, so it's nice when it works, but man, it's hell.
But that's Comcast. I say
Same thing.
Yeah.
I chose speed, thinking I was gonna get reliability, because it's Comcast, right?
Right.
Crazy.
I mean, you gotta have speed, obviously.
Yes, reliability.
Reliability, when you're in a meeting or something, and then and you lose it.
What does the city use?
Sorry,
What does the city
I
use?
think we're on Century.
we have a fiber optic up in this one.
Oh, no, we don't have fiber optic here.
No.
But that sounds fantastic.
I thought we had a
But you
fiber-
responded, yes, you want it, huh?
I thought we did.
Off of this tower here.
This.
When they brought it in, we got it.
Yeah, if they did, we don't have it.
We're on like dial.
We're not on dial and type it.
You've got mail.
It's better than my house.
Honestly.
For the record, we don't have dial here.
I would bet we're on fiber, because we get a lot of connections going on here.
I really think we did.
I remember Melinda
don't
bringing
think we
it
can
up and
support
that they
the
pulled
bandwidth
fiber
for
into
it.
the.
I
remember,
really
Lori,
think-
remember this? I remember it.
I really think we did, and whether we're using it or not.
Well, it sounds amazing. Maybe we'll look into that.
I don't think there's any way we're getting DSL.
No,
From
because you're the
Century
internet's
and
connected
get
to
to
us.
this kind
All of
of-
us are on.
I really think that we did from this tower, where they brought it in.
So by the time they pulled the fiber
They're
up.
not
to
charging
it,
us for fiber.
what would have made that might not have been here or no, because it was a bit after by the time Sarika came and ran that.
Maybe we're
Fiber
using
up to
magic.
it.
I really think, Melinda, that would one of the big deals to push, that we could have that, we had a rental fee and you could get,
No, and now that you say it, it seems like that.
anyway, sorry.
Well,
Next slide,
Century
please.
could still be our provider, they're just using fiber. It's pretty common. If it's available, they'll use it.
Right for the next
Yeah.
slide. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, this is our, how satisfied are you with the cost of your current internet connection? You can't really see the little dashes, but it kind of, if you go from like neutral, like we're okay with the cost to satisfied, it's about 50%. Or neutral to satisfied with what their cost is currently. And then how satisfied are you with the reliability? Again, neutral, it looks like they're about 60%, 65, 70%. So I was too, I was shocked at that one. The thing is though, like a lot of times people will, it's funny because in the comments section, tons of people are on the reliability, like this is terrible, we hate the reliability. But you know how sometimes you're taking a survey and you're like, yeah, but if you really feel strongly about it, you'll put it in the comments. So it's interesting, I thought that too, there's a little discrepancy in what the numbers say based on what the comments say. Yeah, exactly. How satisfied with the speed of your current internet connection? And again, like, looks like 45% are very satisfied, dissatisfied, and when you go to comments, you get, I hate the speed of this, terrible, right? So.
I still don't know how many of those were on fiber already at the speed, but I don't know. We didn't know how much fiber we had in the city at the time, so.
Right, well, I think just based on the survey, and I don't know, I think there was 18 respondents that said they have fiber. So.
Oh, okay.
Is that?
I didn't realize those were questions, but.
Yeah, it was back a couple slides, so. How much do you pay now for your internet access each month? I thought this was pretty interesting, just to kind of see what people are paying currently.
Is that, how much is Comcast? Is it?
At 80. Yeah.
Mine for
Depends on
Xfinity
speed.
Beverage is a fire, she does 60.
Yeah,
Yeah, pay 250 and it's 69.74.
More
TXOX,
and
ours is 60.
With Rise. it's
Ours is fiber.
55 or-
Huh? Fiber.
We are on fiber. You are on fiber then, too, so that's offered. Yeah. $60 a month.
Okay. This is download speed, what's the download speed of your internet connection based on the 500 respondents? 63% said they were slower than 100 megabits per second. I thought that was a pretty telling number there. 63% slower than 100 megabits. Data limitations, is there a limit on how much internet data you can use each month? So is there a cap or, things like that? A lot of people didn't really know. I didn't know. So that's how they responded. Importance of access. Yeah. How important is it? How many total internet users are typically on your internet connection?
Wow.
Yeah.
We have
Seven.
6.
2,
All the
3,
time.
yeah. Yep. So you can see there's a lot of users. This is a pretty good slide here. So if you use the internet to learn or do schoolwork from home, the yes section, 75% said yes for school. Use the internet to work from home, yes part-time or yes full-time, 80% of respondents use the internet to work from home. So that's where we got that. Is it important? Yeah. Media streaming, we just thought it'd be fun to see, like, I don't know about you, when I took the survey, I was like, oh, I use Netflix. Then as I started going on, I was like, oh, yeah, I use that, I use that. So, just interesting to see just how much we're using. And connected devices, that was another one where, I didn't think about, oh, yeah, my doorbell, oh, yeah, my garage door, oh, yeah, my heater, like, yeah, all that stuff. All the connected devices.
And that's only gonna grow.
Exactly. So this is basically if they made a comment at the end of the survey, that's what it's on the same. So 342 people didn't leave a comment out of the 500 at the end of the survey.
And just from what I can interpret with the neutral, positive, and negative, so the neutral is just kind of a general comment about fiber. Positive is, the city moving forward with it. And negative,
Nothing
not necessary. Sorry.
No, it's perfect. I appreciate that. Then I really like this response map. It looks like we got a pretty good representation of the city. Yeah, I thought that was nice too. We got a little bit of everywhere.
Can you go back a slide and it's necessarily to show, but the negative, what do you mean by negative? They didn't
Comments.
Kind of comments. So in the comment section, some said like, well, we don't think city government should play
That's
in
why I'm
this.
wondering if it's negative against the city's role of doing this.
Or just like, I don't feel like we need it, I'm satisfied with what I have, or anything that was kind of negative towards like, don't bring fiber, for whatever reason, don't do it.
I don't recall a question of even, was there a question presented option of what should the city's role be? I don't remember a question like that. It was just a question general
That was in
of
the
what are
comments.
Mm-hmm.
your needs and what, what.
I guess we're just trying to establish, is there even a need before we go down this, this path, so.
And just another thing to note, we have the comment section. We also had, and I apologize, it's not on the slide deck, but just an email thing that people could leave, and we got a few hundred emails as well. Just, you know, if they'd like to receive contact as we consider this type of thing. So
Right.
I think it was over 200.
Yeah, it was impressive. It's great. So we can reach out to them too, and communication more forward too, that way, so. So yeah, so where do we go from here, basically? So what I'm suggesting is with the responses that we've received, it looks like there's an overwhelming need to pursue, you know, just looking at bringing fiber. We have a lot of options that we could go down. What I'm suggesting is we put a committee together and look at the options and decide what way we want to go. So based on just the responses and what the residents are saying, I think that that's how we should move forward, is based on pull a committee together and get some recommendations together.
So the committee would be
Well, I think,
you and Dave and some resident businesses to participate.
yeah, that's what I'd like to do, is get some, couple of people.
So we've met with three now, three different providers. We've asked a lot of questions. So there's a lot of good information out there. I think we can kind of start to go down a direction, get some kind of proposals there from this point. But
You only ask them who. Which one?
yeah, we've met with Strata. We've met with Oakland, we've met with TXOS.
So when you say proposals on different avenues of city funded, private, what?
Yeah.
Recommendation.
Yeah, just recommendations of which ways we could go, you know.
And we can get, you know, input on it for sure, and from all of us, so it's not. It's not.
Well, I want to make sure that there's differing opinions. One opinion, and that really needs to be talked about and addressed, is, do we feel like this is the proper role of government? And it's not a quick and easy discussion, but I think it's one that should be had. It's kind of early, and at least address that elephant in the room. Make sure that we're headed down a path that we think. And there are some options that, what we're finding, just real quick, is no matter what option we go down, it seems like private industry gets to play, and the ISP part of it. And maybe not the laying of fiber or whatever, but or the owning of the fiber, but actually that's just a utility, or it's just a whether it's a utility ran by the city or a utility run by a company, something in the ground, the ISPs come in and do the front and back ends. So even if you subscribe to whatever we put in, you have to have an ISP to facilitate that. So it's a TXOS, or it's a Strata, or X machine, whatever it is.
Right, and so, and the more ISP providers you can bring, the more competition you have, and the better it's gonna try to price it down.
We have to have a fair open market regardless of how we go about it.
Definitely. So if the council's open to it, we'd like to just form a committee and then get it to more digestible pieces, so that it's pretty technical. But I think we could come and lay it down for you, and just kind of so you can make an informed decision on which way we want to go forward.
Does it require, I don't think it requires any action. Just the nod, just say form a committee, invite some residents. Figure out how you're gonna do that. All right, next item is a closed meeting
Make a motion to go in closed meeting.
to discuss.
Richard's real property.
Property acquisition. All right.
Second motion.
Motion by Bailey, correct?
I thought
Okay.
second by
All right. It's a roll call vote. Aaron?
Yes.
Bailey? Yes. Gibson? Yes. Aaron?
We leave
Yes.
this open and I'll close it up.
Yes.
Yeah, I just still have that card.
Let her change. You change the tape on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this one off and then start that again. Then I need to get us off. Are we off live?
Let me get us
Need
off
to
the
make sure we
line.
turn live on YouTube still.
Sorry,
Okay.
it took me only like 20 minutes to figure out how to get the right screen on this thing, because this one took our audio.